Faith Forged in Fire, where we dive headfirst into the unique challenges and triumphs that comes with being a firefighter, all while exploring what it means to live out a biblical worldview. Join us as we find hope, perseverance, and faith in the midst of the heat and chaos. Welcome to the podcast.
G'day, we just got in from the bush.
Don't forget, we need the moment of silence.
Right. Faith Forged in Fire, where we dive headfirst into the... Wait, I forgot. Into the unique challenges...
of being a firefighter
and triumphs. The unique challenges and triumphs of being a firefighter. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
All right, he's done.
Hey, good enough.
Hey.
I had a massive brain fart.
Hey, we're live.
You are your father's son. Well, hey, welcome to the podcast, guys. Yeah. As you can see, Joshua got much younger and he has hair now.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm glad he said that because he ain't getting fired.
You have a good point there. So as you can see, things are a little bit different this week than the week before, and that's because we have a very special guest with us today.
So yes, we want to thank. We were kind of talking about one of the show notes we wanted to do is just kind of do something a little different. You have a little bit of fun with it, but just talking about raising kids in a home and raising in a godly home, and kind of some of the things that we can do as dads and moms in our home with our children. So my son here, this is Connor Shucksta, and he is my boy here, and he's been nagging me. He's like, I want to come on the show, Dad. I want to come on the show. Yeah. He really wants to be, and I think he just wants to show his buddies at school, to be honest with you. But it's like, that's
good enough. Good of reason as any.
That's not valid.
That's not valid. Well, hey there. Welcome, Mini Chi-Town. Hey, it works.
Now he knows what we're.
Now he knows what we're all about.
He's always wondering why. Like, Dad, why are you moving and dancing like that? Well, here we go. Now you understand why. So
there we go. Well, before we get started,
yes,
we should thank our awesome sponsor.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I have a hard time even saying that.
That's the best.
Anyway. Seriously, though, go to redflannelcoffeeco.com. Today, we have a new promo code for you this week. It is FFIF, as in Faith Forged in Fire, but I'm too lazy to spell that all out for you. So, FFIF, put that in, and you will get 50% off that sweet sticker right there.
You're supposed to have waited till the very end of the show.
Oh, no, you're right.
I don't have to.
The boss isn't here.
Hey, when the cat's away, the mice will play.
What's he going to do about it? He's gone.
I bet he's sitting down there at prayer study pacing. I left those three unattended.
And you know what? He probably just had that feeling of like, they're doing something.
Have I done
right.
that?
They are.
Yeah. No, we're going to start off with the promo because it leads us right into our new email where you can get a hold of us.
Yes,
right.
We set up an email a few weeks back. Thank you so much, Jake, for doing that. But we want to encourage you as a listener to, if you have any prayer requests, if you want to get a hold of us, if you have a show idea, even something like this, bringing on the family or whatever it is, we want to hear from you. If you have anything going on, anything you want to talk about, please get a hold of us on ffifpodcast@gmail.com. And please, we've already had one listener.
Yeah.
Ashley, we have already had Connor. Come on, squirrel. Look forward, son. Okay.
That would make my name Smokey.
Yeah, well, that is Smokey. You're right, but remember, look forward. I need you to be with me, okay?
I see where he gets it from.
Yeah, because you're going to distract me. I'm going to start looking like, what's he pointing at over here?
Oh, wow, that's shiny.
Yeah, he's like, look at the lights on the wall. But we've already had a listener reach out to us with a really great, kind of a.
Yeah, you should
move over. Yeah, get in the picture.
We've already covered that 2 weeks ago.
I know, but
So who is the show?
Man, he's calling you out.
Well, I don't know. We may need to bring him on the show more often, though, it looks like.
I think he's going to need a ride home by the way he's going at it. He fits right in.
Well, yeah, you could be looking for a ride home. The way you're going. Okay. So this is my son, Connor Shuxton, and we thought it'd be kind of cool to bring him on as we talk about raising kids in the home and just kind of, some things that we can talk about as dads and maybe some of the things that we do in our own home, but also just kind of listen to Connor a little bit and say, Connor, what do you think that we can do? And maybe some examples that you see of your mom and dad in your home that just kind of help you with your walk. And I know me and Connor, what's really cool, Connor's getting to that age where he's getting very inquisitive and he's asking questions. And even my faith journey, when this whole podcasting started, he was like, well, so Dad, so what happened to you? And so it was really cool because I got a chance, by God to give him my well, and I had to tone it down.
So there's
for a 9-year-old.
So there's a story there that he knows.
Well, yeah, he knows the faith journey, but I had to I had to speak it to young ears, and really tone it down. But he understands the importance of God in Dad's life, and in Mom's life, and in his family's life, and in his life. And so it's just been really fun to be able to parent and to see God working in both my children's lives. I know I just have one here. Caitlin did not want to be on film today in any way to do that, but
she's nervous to go on.
She was very nervous. Yeah, she was very nervous. But really, we just want to, talk about a few things here that that we can do, as dads. And I think it's tough because of the culture we live in. It's very easy as dads, and we'll speak right now for dads because we have 3 men, four guys around the table, but 3 dads here. Is that, it's very easy that we want to be a provider, but maybe be a provider in the wrong ways. And what I mean by that is that it's so easy for us to put our careers at at front and center, or, maybe our time with our guy friends or something, and kind of forget really that investment in our children and putting that time and effort into our kids. And so I think one of the things that we really talk about is being a provider, but providing in a different way, not necessarily the just financial way. Because the reality is, God will put us in a position to provide for our families, right? It talks about in the Bible where, the Lord says, the plants can't move, but yet I give them what they need, right? Right. And I provide for them even though they can't move. The birds, I provide for the birds and make sure that they get what they need. And so we know that the Lord will provide for us, but, what are the things that we do to provide in other ways, spiritually, whatever like that.
Yeah, so, definitely. Well, and you bring up a really good point because, as dads, we are, setting an example for our kids. And this goes back a few weeks ago when we talked about that notion of, do as I say, not as I do, right? And how that's not biblical because we are here. We should be saying, do as I say and as I do. Yeah. We should be leading by example in that sense. And, that is including having your children included in your spiritual walk and in your, prayer time and Bible studies and everything. So I think that's a really good point. And, having them along in your faith journey will strengthen their faith journey as well and kind of set that foundation for them as they grow and they start facing challenges. Shameless plug here at Red Flannel Coffee, our tagline is roasted for the resilient. And that has so many, just having that resilience has played so many crucial roles in my life. But that's really what you're doing when you're bringing your kids up through Christ is you are building that resilience in them, that spiritual resilience. So when they face those challenges, they know that they can turn to Christ, that they have a loving God, and they have a trusted parent that they can turn to as they know because they've been brought up through that. Yeah.
And so you brought up a really good point. And another point we want to talk about is being the example of Christ, and so the kids can see, because I think I even mentioned it a week ago where, we as parents can speak all we want, right. But if we're not matching up, if our words are not matching up with our actions, right. For the kids, they're not unintelligent. They're not stupid. They see it and they go, something's not right here. Dad is saying one thing, but dad is doing something else, or mom, or whatever, or grandma, grandpa, whatever.
They're a little fidgety, but they're not.
They're fidgety, but they're not.
They're not unintelligent.
Yeah. You are. Are you okay? You are really fidgety. You're all over the place in here. I just need you to sit still. Okay, sit up. So we also need to parent our kids, even on podcasts. So just sit up. So because you're. Yeah, just sit there.
But no, I think this is a good time though to ask Connor. What does that look like for you though when you are, beginning, or maybe not even beginning, but you are walking in your spiritual journey with Christ, and what does that support look like from your dad? What are some of those things that we might be missing as dads that you want us to know so that we can better help our kids?
To read the Bible to your kids every night before they go to sleep. Because I know my dad read like a children's Bible to me.
Yeah.
And I was like younger. He did that.
Was that like a storybook Bible?
Yeah, it was like
nice.
Each day you would, each night, it was like a day, it'd say like the month and then the day.
Nice.
You'd read it every night. And then it'd be like just a passage of words and then like some fun facts below.
Yeah.
And I really liked when he did that. But we read all the pages.
Yeah. Sounds like it's time to go back to the beginning.
You gotta
bring up Genesis, Steve. Come on. Come on. I know what you're doing tonight after the podcast.
That's exactly exactly what it is. Now I am convicted. I need to read to you tonight.
Right.
Well, thank you, Connor, for bringing that up. And that was something that I felt very led to do with my kids. I really wanted to invest in them because we talk about, and to be an example, it's also an investment.
Right.
And it's easy when we hear investment, we think of financial, right? Oh, you're doing a financial investment. You're investing for the future. Well, the thing is that the children are our future. And so when we invest, we're investing in their lives for their lives, because the kids are not going to forget the times that we spent, with them.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that they want. I had a really interesting thing that happened years ago, and I'll never forget this. This is kind of like earlier on in my spiritual journey, but when we first had kids, I remember. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
New guy.
A new guy. There we go.
Way to go, Connor.
But what we had was when we first had kids, I had my aunt and uncle where I was spending some time with them, and I'll never forget it because in my mind I thought, vacations, we need to do all these great things, whatever. And I remember my uncle looked at me and he goes, Steve, he goes, you know what I did with your cousins when they were kids? And I said, no, what? He goes, when I was off on shift, he goes, we used to go take the weekends to go to Yogi Bears, which are like KOAs, I guess, out in the Midwest. Yeah. And he goes, we just go for the weekend. You know what's great about it? No telephones, no TV, nothing. Just us spending time together as a family.
Nice.
And I never forgot that because it just was something like, what am I doing? I'm thinking this big picture, like I do these extravagant things, and the kids don't care about that, because when I asked my cousins about it, they remembered all those trips and said those were incredible trips. You know why? Because mom and dad invested in them. It wasn't about the entertainment. It's not like the Disneyland thing and Mickey Mouse and all. It's about mom and dad. We were spending time together as a family, and I never forgot that. And it was really something that kind of helped. It was something that helped kind of transform me in the sense of how to raise kids. Because I think my daughter was really young, so I was really new in the whole kid game. And so it really did just kind of change the trajectory of like, you're right. God was using my uncle to kind of help me to say, no, I need to invest in these two. And that is where my life is at. And even if it now, where it even takes my own personal wants and desires, it's, if I have a chance to hang out with the fellas or be with my kids, I got to invest in those kids. Make sure those kids are invested in first. And then if there's something on the side, we can go do that. But it's like, I got to make sure that that's taken care of. But,
we talked a couple of weeks ago about like a transformative heart and mind. And it's funny, especially as Christians, when we become fathers, or even mothers, how those, desires change, right? Where before maybe we wanted to go hang out with, our buddies and, or, whatever it is that we're doing to live in the world, suddenly we have this new life and it's, that those desires change, and you want to nurture, that new life, and you want to bring them up in the Word of God and in a Christian home, and not just Christian. I mean, we talked again before about Christianity, but really it's just following Christ. So bringing them up in a Christ-centered home. But it's awesome to see how that transformation takes place.
Well, and you think about it as a family when you're a dad. And I'll speak to the husbands out there. When we get married, that is the moment that it should no longer be about us. Because when we're single guys, it's about us, right? Sure. We're always about our wants and desires. And I'm speaking outside of the Christian realm, just as human beings, it's all about me. Well, once we go into that covenant with God in marriage, well, now it's not just about me; it's about her. And I remember when I got married originally, it was like, this is weird because now I have to think of what she wants, and I have to be okay with that, you know. And even whether I like it or not, I have to be okay with that. And then when you start bringing children into the picture, now you've taken that down a whole new level because now it's really not about you. Mm-hmm. And what I found now, and God is just as who I am as a person, is there's my life really does center around my faith and my family, my kids and definitely. My wife, and I just kind of have whatever's left over. But it's not a bad thing; it's a good thing,
right. Yeah.
But
I get what you're saying.
And so we have to make sure as guys that we need to sacrifice to know it's about putting God first and putting these little ones and our wives second. Yeah. And then we're in the caboose. We're the last. But and God will honor that. But I want to say I want to make sure we get some scripture out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so talking about being an example for our kids, I looked up 1 Timothy 4:12, and it says, "Let no one despise you for your youth, but set the believers an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity." So it's like we said, it's one of those things that we set the example in all of these things for our kids, and those are the things that they will never forget the rest of their lives. An example I had, and I was thinking about it the other night, and kind of you're going to remember this. I had a really interesting moment where it just melted my heart because you saw the fruit of where the kids were watching. I had about a year ago, I was close to home, and I had the kids. I picked the kids up from something, and it was just me and the two kids in the car. And I was sitting at a light, and there was a lady in back of me, and she tapped my car. It wasn't anything big. And if you remember this,
I was like, "Oh, Dad, why did you do? You slammed on the brakes."
So he didn't know what happened, and then they realized, we just got hit. Now it wasn't bad, right? And I remember I got out of the car, and it was interesting because this poor lady, I could tell that she was just having a really rough day. She was having a rough one, and she was really upset. And I looked at the car, and I was like, "Do you see anything there?" She said, "No, we're okay." I go, "I want you, God bless you, and have a great day." And the kids heard this, and I got back on the car, and I'll never forget it. This young man right here said, "Dad," he goes, "God is always using you with people, and I always notice it. I see God using you." Cool. And that was a moment for me where I about became mush in the car because I was done. I was like, I don't know how I even got home, but it was one of those for me where, that was the example. They've been watching me. And then they saw a moment where they saw the love of Christ come through me. It's something. I mean, I could have been a stand-up person and been a real pain in the butt to the lady.
Sure,
and I'm like, "Listen, ma'am, it's okay. And even if it was, it's okay. We'll get it figured out. It's not a big deal. Right. Don't worry about it. How are you doing?" And they saw that, and I never forgot that moment because
I think what's cool with that too is that that's a good reminder to you as well that your kids are watching you, right? Mm-hmm. And one thing that my wife and I talk about every so often is, the community service and the nonprofit stuff that I'm involved in and the school stuff that I'm involved in, it's not just, living through Christ and living a Christ-centered life and doing, like we spoke about in our last episode, the civic duty, but it's setting an example for my kids of saying, hey, be active in your community and help others where you can. Yeah. Because that is what we should be doing. And just like showing grace to somebody who's clearly having a bad day and, you could have handled it in a million different ways, but really it was the grace of God coming through saying, hey, maybe she needs to see me right now.
Now, and here's another, yes, absolutely. And here's another thing that just came to mind as I'm sitting here listening. Another thing that I've been so proud of and talking about the example of treating others. So, Connor, by the way, would you tell everybody what school you go to?
Yeah, I go to Jenison Christian School.
Yeah, I want to do a plug for JCS. We love JCS. And
At least it's not Notre Dame.
don't listen to him. You don't mind him.
So are you planning on going to Michigan State then after you graduate, or Ohio State?
He's gonna be he's gonna go to Irish. He's all Irish. But,
All right.
no, we actually go. We go to Notre Dame football games every year. He gets a kick out of it. Actually, we are going to go see Sparty on September 19th, though.
Oh, nice.
I think with
Sparty.
Michigan State,
MSU.
Sparty.
Spartan.
Oh.
Yeah, with his uncle and his cousin. So we're gonna go do that because they're big Michigan State fans. But
Listen, as a junior college fan, you wouldn't understand what we're talking about.
are you a Hope or a Calvin guy? Which one is it for you?
For what sport are
Grand
we
Valley?
talking about?
Yeah, no.
I am that into sports.
Squirrel.
Huh?
All right.
But he goes to Genesis. But what's really, really cool is since we've been here, he's had a couple years now where what they do over there is they have in each of the grades or some of the grades, Jenison has some kids that have some special needs and really nice young boys and girls. But what they do is so they hang out with the regular kids and it's a real blessing to be a blessing for those kids. But there's a boy in Connor's class who's been so kind that every year he wants to have his buddies come with him to a camp. And it's Camp Scotty. And Connor's been picked a couple times because this boy sees value in Connor as he is so nice to me and he's such a friend that I want to have Connor come with me. And to me, as a parent, that's another example of, he's learning how to treat people that are not just like him, but also opposite or different than him.
Right.
But yet he treats him with love and doesn't treat him any different. Right. And that's such an honor to have that. That's just, I couldn't be more proud to see my son being picked for that because it's just saying he's noticing the way my son treats him. And I think that's part of the example that we set as parents as well.
Yeah, that's very cool.
And I've seen maybe some kids in other grades who have disabilities like that too. They some people pick on them, make fun of them. And then I decided, well, I wouldn't never be like that. I want to help him. I want to make him happy.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Then I became friends with him. Every single year I was in his class, he invited me to Camp Scotty, and we just had a really fun time there.
Yeah, that's very
But
cool.
you love on him.
So let me ask you this then, Connor, as as a kid growing up in a Christian household and being set apart and having the Holy Spirit in you in the way that you treat people as opposed to other kids who might be picking on them and everything. How do you deal then with that? I guess the social aspect of when you're around other kids and that you're not going to get involved in the picking on them and stuff like that. What is that dynamic like for you?
Wait.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. So when you're at school and everything, right? You're being brought up in a Christ-centered household, and so that that means that you may be different in some way because you have the Holy Spirit living in you, and that is important to you, and those are that is the life that you want to live, and so how do you I guess how do you bring that to school with you and around your other friends and what is that like being around other kids who don't live a lifestyle like that?
I just try to be kind, really kind to them. Maybe once in a while, I just try to tell them about Christianity and
Tell him about Jesus.
yeah.
He used to pray in class too. He'd be like, Connor, keep over praying for everybody. It's that was awesome. But again, it's learning because we pray in the house together.
Yeah,
and
that's very cool.
Stuff like that.
Yes.
So, yeah. Getting
Real quick, Connor, do you ever pray out loud and you're just in front of your teacher, please, Lord, don't let us have any more homework today. It's enough. And then does your teacher hear that and all right, maybe we shouldn't.
I actually like homework.
Oh, do you? So you pray for more homework while the other kids are glaring at you.
It helps you move on to the next grade easier.
Fair enough.
Look at that.
He knows Jenison Christian is watching now.
He gets that. Yeah,
He gets that from his mom.
Yeah, I was just going to say that one he gets from mom. She's way smarter than I am. So, but well, another thing that that we can do with our kids is just love them, and I think it's I was having a conversation today with somebody that that I know. And we talk about just the parents, and sometimes, in those providing moments, we sometimes forget to show the love, like our love for them, and know that, let those kids know that we love them. And it kind of goes into another point about like disciplining, but like when we discipline, we need to let them know that why we discipline them, and that we're not. This is not that I'm mad and angry at you. It's just I love you, but I'm doing this because I'm trying to teach you something.
Yeah,
right?
so as parents, and we have to be careful to discipline out of a place of love and correction rather than out of a place of anger, because it's so easy to get caught up in that frustration and discipline out of that, as in like retribution rather than discipline. There's a fine line between the two, and so we have to be careful as parents to do that.
Yeah. Now, you kind of do you feel pretty loved by your mom and dad?
Yes, I do. I feel loved very much.
Do you?
I was really waiting for him to say, well, yeah, I really know that mom loves me.
Yeah. I was waiting for that too. I was like, I should put him on the spot like this because he's going to call me out on something. I'm like,
remember, there is no editing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, no, and making sure that we tell our one of the things that I've always felt led to do is to make sure and let them know. Like I tell them, like sometimes I go, you know how much I love you, don't you? Oh yeah, Dad. They get all that thing. But I think it's important to do that because they need to know, especially when they get to those ages that are, that are tougher ages, right? Our kids when they get to be teenagers and they get to those tough, and when you raise your boys and stuff, they get to those ages. Those are really tough ages, and they need to know that they're loved and supported by mom and dad, and they have a support system. And again, it's easy as we sometimes provide where we get too wrapped up in other things where we forget to say those things and forget to let them know. And so I had another verse here. I had, Psalm 127:3-5, and it said, "Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them." And just letting you know that, just to love on them. And but you said you feel pretty loved at home.
Yeah, because something about this, like every once in a while, I'm trying to sleep, and then I hear my mom come into the room, and then I just feel a big hug, and then she started loving me while I'm trying to sleep.
Mom's,
come on,
yeah,
thank you.
I know, mom's she's mushy when it comes to the kids, you know. So they get a lot, but again, they know, but they know that, and that's one thing that all of our. Make sure we just let all of our kids know how much. Yeah,
well, it goes by so fast, right? And everybody says that when you're a parent with older kids, you always tell the people with younger kids, man, enjoy it because it goes by so fast. And so even the mushy stuff, enjoy that because it does. It go, they become adults before you know it, and.
Yeah, my youngest daughter was 3 just a couple of weeks ago, and my grandson just turned like 3, 2.5. That happens so fast.
It does.
It does. It really does. Another thing too. We just teach and guide them too. Being that example, we need to teach them about life. And one of the things that me and my wife we kind of disagree about, but I think it's really important is, well, let me back up. One of the things that I was told a long time ago with an individual I worked with many years ago is this gentleman had boys. And he looked at me one day and he said, "Steve," he goes, "I'm not raising boys, I'm raising men." And I never forgot that because what he's saying is they're young now, but they're going to be older. And one of my jobs is to teach them and prepare them for the world that's out there. Because the reality is, are you okay? You're really fidgety. I didn't get him a fidget with him.
He's done. He's like,
he's like, how much time we got left?
See you guys later.
I'm getting ready to press the soundboard.
No. Just hell no. We're almost done.
It's that red button that says record.
Don't do it. Just wait. We're almost done.
Just
hang tight. Whoa. So, I always do this at home with my wife. Go, whoa, bring the volume down. Whoa. Yeah. And she goes, don't do that again, But the thing is, so in raising our children, we need to prepare them for the world out there because there's going to be a day where they're going to fly the coop. They're going to leave the nest, right? And I look at it because of the situation of me growing up with my mom, passed away when I was 16 years old. There could be a day where Mom and I are not here, and it could be sooner than later. You never know when God's ready to take us home. So my job is to make sure and prepare you for the world out there. So when we're not here, or first off, we get out into the world, but if we're not, God forbid, if we're not here, you're going to be okay. You're going to be able to survive. And that's obviously teaching them in the ways of the Lord, first and foremost, but just teaching them life in general. And so, that's one of the things that I've always really felt led to do with the kids. And, one of the things I even told them, even with my story, is that I told my wife, I said, I need to warn them about what's out there. Not that I'm promoting it, but need to let them know, because if we don't do that, what's going to happen is the kids are going to be super curious and they're going to learn it from somebody else.
Right.
And we don't need that. I would rather you know it and know the truth, because what's going to happen is when you get out there, you're going to go, Dad told me about this. He said, stay away. Yeah. I think I remember that, and so, and there's a way to do it, right? Spiritually, when we talk to our kids, but just to make them aware of the world and not be so, guarded and feel like it's a taboo subject. We got to talk about that. And even some of the tough things that are not fun to talk about, the birds and bees are going to come up, and we have to be like, I know we don't want to talk about it, but we need to, because that's real life. Outside here, when you go to college or you get on your own, that's real life, and you have to be just aware of what's out there. So I think that's an important deal as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
And then I think really finish up just praying. I think just spending time with him. I mean, right now he's beating me in chess right now. By the way, the kid is actually a better chess player than I am. He's really good. So it's frustrating.
Speaking of which, I was just playing chess whenever. Well, I was playing chess like a couple weeks ago
when you were sitting over there a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're playing. And what happened a couple weeks ago when you were playing chess?
I
like your awareness on it.
Yeah, he stopped himself. Goes, I got to make sure not to give it away, and you won. So
you just did.
I know, but it's okay. So the thing is, but no, it's spending that time and then praying with them, making sure that we do those little things so they can take it on moving forward. So, Connor, is there anything you want to add? Before we start landing this plane, because I think we're getting pretty close.
Yeah, we got to land the plane.
Is there anything you want to share really quick? You want to just? We've already plugged your school. What's that?
I want to share this.
Oh, you want to do the thing? All right, you got to go. This is Chi-Town and Chi-Town Junior.
Yeah.
Episode.
Yeah. So, well, you know what? We thank you. We're gonna land this thing, because we can go sideways quick. But there's just a few things there that about raising kids. Obviously, there's some other things we haven't touched on, and we can touch on in another episode. But if there's something, if there's questions you have about this subject or any other subjects we talk about, please, we have that great podcast email now. It's ffifpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you. And make sure that you leave something on there. Let us know how we can be a blessing to you, or God can use us to be a blessing to you.
If you want to.
Yeah, if you want to. Also, he's taking over. He's like, I know my time is done here. I better
exactly.
Okay, no more. All right. But also,
not only one-liners, but one words.
Yeah, one word. But also too, make sure to visit us on YouTube, on Facebook. Please subscribe. We ask you so much to please subscribe, and it helps get this message out there, because the reality is we really, really want to get this out to the young men and women of the fire service, public safety. Yeah. We want this to be a blessing to you. And so the more we subscribe, or you subscribe, the more you share it, the more it gets out there. So please, let's get this out there. Let's get out to the fire service and let God use this to be a blessing to them, for someone who needs it.
And then if you want a cool sticker for your fire truck or your POV,
yes,
there's the sticker.
I have it in my water bottle over there.
And then if you use FFIF,
that's right,
you get 50% off the price of a sticker, which makes it about what? I've not looked. So
makes it $1.75, I think.
$1.75 plus shipping. So
which to me, that's a pretty good deal.
I mean, putting me on the spot to do math. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, I didn't remember if they were $3 normal price or $4 normal price.
I think they're $3.50 on the website.
I happen to have an inside supplier for these stickers. So thanks guys. I didn't have to per se buy them from the website.
Right. Yes. So buy them from the website.
Yeah.
Redflannelcoffeeco.com, FFIF. You'll get 50% off the Faith Forged in Fire sticker. We certainly appreciate it, and thank you for
Absolutely
listening to this episode.
And Connor, thank you so much for taking the time. Connor was actually missing a football event tonight. With Connor's gonna be playing tackle football this year, and we had a little event we were gonna do at one of the coaches' houses. I'm helping coach this year, and just getting a few of the kids together. So Connor was like, I want to be on the podcast.
He was so gracious to come here to show you how to be on a podcast.
Basically, is what he goes. I got to teach me a few things.
Be quiet.
I see a replacement.
Wow.
I see a replacement in the near future.
Yeah, I do too.
We got to land this place.
Yeah, it's time to land it right now.
We're running out of steam. We're running out of fuel. We got to land it.
Because this guy wants to get the thing back up again. No, we're going to let it go. Hey, thank you so much again. You guys have a wonderful rest of your week, and God bless you, and take care.